How are y'all?
Welcome to the Knitter's Gotta Knit podcast. This is stitch number 6. I'm Carrie, and on Ravelry, I'm a Knitfomaniac, and on Instagram, it's just Knitfomaniac.
And I'm Bags by Awesome Granny on Instagram and Awesome Granny on Ravelry. My name's Darlene. Is it 5 or 6?
It's 6, stitch 6.
Oh, I thought it was 5.
No, it's 6.
Okay.
Well, it's like still number 1 to us. We're still learning. So today is Wednesday, September 27th, and this past Saturday, Darlene came over and we podcasted in the morning.
We did. It was great. It was the best show yet.
It was. It was stitch number 6, and it was fabulous. And I went to edit it, and there was 0 sounds.
I told Carrie, I said, just post it and let people wonder what we're saying.
You guys can guess.
Guess what they're talking about. So
just as we hold up stuff. But we're both going to take a crack at trying to knit while we podcast and see if that's going to work for us.
I would work on Kagan's sweater, but I'm afraid that the needles might be too loud, and I know that some people have a thing about stuff like that, and
clacking needles,
and they're kind of, because they're like telephone poles. See, just picking them up. See how loud they are?
Yeah.
So I won't do that because I think it would drive people crazy.
It probably would.
So
I'm going to start off with a giveaway. So we had Undead Yarn. We opened a thread, and I actually locked it on Saturday, drew a number on Saturday, and we podcasted. So people have probably been wondering, why is it still locked and it's already Wednesday? But there are 55 entries, so 2 through 55. Number 21 was Pinky Pink 62. And you win a skein of DK Undead Yarn in the Lavender Moon colorway, 246 yards.
It's so pretty.
I don't think that it's going to focus. Come on. Okay, maybe if I just hold it out. Sorry, guys.
Well, last week we had no sound. This time we're not going to have no video.
Maybe we'll put the two together and it won't match, and that will be really interesting to see that go. But it's beautiful. It's purples and blues and grays. It's very, very pretty. I'm going to have to work on maybe getting like a poster board to put behind things so it stops focusing on us and the camera actually focuses on what I'm holding up. I'll have to work on that. But yes, Pink 62, PM me your information and we'll get that sent out to you.
Well, how was your week so far? And I don't remember what happened last week before we podcast.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
Except, well, my son-in-law had surgery, and that was like an ordeal. I mean, it wasn't an ordeal. He's fine. He says it was a minor surgery. Well, to me, in my mind, anytime you go under anesthetic, it's not minor.
Right.
But then whenever your minor surgery is for almost 4 hours, then that's really not minor.
So Darlene was telling me the story how the son-in-law kept telling her, it's just 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes. And then he's in prep and all the people are in the waiting room and the doctor comes in and he says, it's just 30 minutes, right, Doc? And he goes, no, I can try to do it in 30 minutes, but I can't guarantee the outcome.
And it was right at 3 hours. And I told my boss that morning that, I would come in just as soon as he got out of surgery, and I would be in before lunch because, it
was a 30-minute surgery.
It was going to be 30 minutes. And so when he said 3 hours, I texted Brenda and I was like, well, I won't be in by lunch.
No.
And so I got off, I think he got out about 3, I guess, somewhere around there. And so then I went to work, and that night I had a dinner for my 25th. I was being inducted for work for my 25th year of service. And so that whole week was like an ordeal because I had to go find something to wear. And, I love shopping so much that I waited literally until the night before the dinner. So Wednesday night.
That's sarcasm, by the way. She hates shopping.
Oh my gosh, I hate shopping so bad. I mean, if I can't order it online or get somebody to go get it for me, I'm fine with just not getting it because I hate shopping. And I remember one time I needed some new jeans, and Bruce told me, he said, you need to go buy you some jeans and don't come home until you've bought any. Well, I did come home and didn't buy any, And so the next weekend, he took me. He said, "Come on, we're going to go buy jeans."
Alrighty.
And I'm like, "Oh man, can you just go buy them for me?" Like, I sent one time when we needed to buy a car, and I said, "As long as you don't make me go, I'll drive whatever you buy me, because I just don't want to go." But I hate shopping, y'all.
That's awesome.
So
just buy me anything. I'll drive whatever it is.
I'll drive it. I won't complain. I don't care what it is. Just don't make me go. So, but
I don't think I had a whole lot last week. Paige is this coming week, and next week she's counting down to her closing, which I believe is the 3rd of October. And so we've had little things, here and there. The seller was supposed to fix some things, and if he hasn't come through to fix them.
He still hasn't?
He's fixed some, but not others, and so now I think he's giving her concessions, money towards closing and down payment and stuff in lieu of fixing it. And so then I think they have to redo some sheet or something. There's so much paperwork with a loan for a home. So
yeah, there is.
So I've been doing that, and other than that, I've really just been lazy and hanging out and working on my fade with the fade. So I'll show that here in a little bit. But we do have another giveaway. We talk about Michelle and Leslie all the time from Naughty Nitwits, and we thank all the traffic that they send this way.
Yes, hi, girls.
Yeah. And they sent us, if you watch their podcast, you know that they have these things called a Big Ass Pen, BAP. It has their logo on it, and they sent us a skein of yarn to give away. It's Knitted Wit Pixie Plied. It is sparkle. It's 92% superwash merino with 8% lurex. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. 400 yards, and the colorway is called Love is Love.
It is really pretty.
It is a beautiful,
that is such patent colors.
beautiful skein of yarn. That is not going to focus. What am I doing? Oh, that's much better. See all those colors, and there's some sparkle in there. And then here's the pen. I don't know if that's going to focus. Maybe the light's too bright. There you go. There's their logo. So we have that to give away. I have already opened up a thread. It's locked right now, but I'll unlock it before this gets uploaded for everybody to see. But that's exciting. So thank you,
Yes.
Michelle and Leslie.
Yes, thank you.
really appreciate it. So we might be a little bit off. Like I said earlier, it's Wednesday. It's after work. We're both a little tired. It's rainy and dreary outside, but
and a little frazzled because we did do this Saturday, and then we can't remember everything.
We can't remember what we said and what we
so-
didn't say, and what we showed and what we didn't show. And I know we showed all our whips, and neither one of us had any finished objects to show. Darlene did finish the shawl for Cynthia, and I did finish the white hat for Cynthia. So that was good to get off the needles. But she's already shipped them to Cynthia, so we don't have them to show. But in the midst of doing just what the fade for myself, I was on Instagram the other day, and I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was, and they had this big old drawer of socks, and hand knitted socks, and it looked fabulous. And I told Arlene, I said, man, I really miss knitting socks. And it's not like I haven't knit them in years. This is the first month that I haven't knit a pair of socks in, I don't know, maybe 2.5 years, 2 years, something like that.
Probably.
And she said, this was Friday, she said, why don't you go home and cast on a pair of socks? And I did. I cast on this pair of socks, and I'm loving them. They're striped. The colorway is called the Wicked Witch of the East. It's a Neely's sport weight, so it's even on size 3s, which makes it go pretty quickly, nice and quick. I did red is the toes, and it's going to be the cuff.
And that's like the perfect red.
It's a beautiful red. It really
like
does
a ruby
remind.
red.
Yeah,
It's
just
so
like
pretty.
just like in the Wizard of Oz, the color of the slippers, and then the stripes. I have 2 socks. Let me get the colorway. Wicked Witch of the East, and it is Neely's Knits Sport. Let me see if I can put this up there. Maybe when I edit this, I'll be able to edit out some of that blurry stuff. It's taking me forever to focus that, so sorry about that. But I am enjoying knitting on them, so I'm thrilled that Darlene said, you should go start some socks, because it certainly has scratched my itch for some.
That's great.
For some socks.
And you've been working on you've had socks on the needles for the past 2 years.
Yeah, so I always have socks to, they're my go-to, when I don't want to think, or I never want to think.
You should be knitting a lot of socks. I was fixing to say.
I never want to.
You should have a lot of socks, Jen.
Millions, but but I do also pick a lot of patterns that are non-thinkers.
Yeah.
So I'm a member of a group called Lone Star State Knitters, which Texas is the Lone Star State, and we have this group of knitters, and it's on Yahoo, and we chat and email and stuff, and a few of us have met in person at different events and things of that nature. But one of them sent a link to a quiz. It was a knitter's quiz, and you answered some questions, and then it came back and it told you if you were an artistic knitter, a logical knitter, or a contented knitter. And of course I'm a contented knitter, and so somebody replied and said, I'm surprised that you're a contented knitter with the spreadsheets that you do, because I like to get those spreadsheets down to the exact number of stitches and things of that nature, which makes me a little bit more logical. But I think the contented knitters, just because I don't want to change the pattern unless I'm changing it to make it easier. Like if it's knit in pieces and I want to change it to knit it in the round, or knit it all in one piece so I don't have to seam it, because I don't like seaming.
But you don't do spreadsheets like on everything. Like you're not going to do spreadsheets on this sock.
No, I don't do spreadsheets.
You do
on
spreadsheets
everything.
on big projects.
Big projects.
Yeah.
When I want to finish them by a certain point in time, maybe my dad's Ranger. I haven't done a spreadsheet for my dad's Ranger because it's one of those
you need to get that done, because we both need that spreadsheet for that.
Well, it's one of those, neither one of us knit it before, so it's one of those that says continue in pattern for 18 inches. Yeah. Well, I'm not so sure how many rows that is. I can
we may
budget.
have to figure out how the grams and make it to where we do so many grams a day instead of
do some fudging. And while we're speaking of spreadsheets, Brenda Bloomfield asked me to explain them. Do you have, Shannon?
I do.
I had one out here this past Saturday when we podcast, but I have no clue what I did with it. But basically, like I said, you can't really make a spreadsheet like this if it has a pattern that's something like continuing pattern for 18 inches, like my dad and Bruce's Ranger. And the same goes with this pattern for Shannon's sweater, but because Darlene has knit it before, I know how many diamonds she's going to have in the cable pattern, and so that helps me know how many rows she needs to do. So I basically start at the very beginning with like a cast on, and it's like row 1, and it's like cast on 42 stitches or something like that. And then the cell below it, you would say, equals the cell above it plus 2. Maybe there was a 2-stitch increase, and so on and so forth. If there was a decrease, you would say equals the cell above it minus something. And then you have this running total down an Excel spreadsheet, just this long piece of paper that has stitch counts for each row. And at the very end, this is like 9 pages long. At the very end, you know that the sweater is 60,740 stitches. So she had, it says 90 days, but I don't think maybe she did have 90 days. So then I would take that 60,000, divide it by the 90 days that she has, figure it out on the calendar, and then she checks off each day. At day 1, she needs to be on sleeve 2, repeat number 3, and she knows how much farther she has to go each day. There's like a new total that she needs to get to, and she'll check that off. So.
And it really helps. It helped. Like, I'm behind today. So this is too far.
Sorry.
So I'm behind on today's because I haven't worked on it today because I've been working on Kagan's sweater. But I know that if I get a day behind, it's going to be okay because I can get that caught up tomorrow or this weekend. It really does help me to know, what what I need to do.
I can't tell if that's focusing for you guys or not.
But they're a lifesaver. I mean, these spreadsheets, they really are keep you on task if you have a hard and fast deadline.
Yeah, so they do help. But like you said, I don't do one for every single item that I do. Just those
the big
ones that that I really want to get done and want to get it, like maybe for Christmas or Thanksgiving or a birthday or just want to put yourself on a deadline so you don't knit on other things and, get something finished. I know there's those monogamous knitters out there that don't need anything like this because they just, knit on one thing and they finish it and then they can move on. But,
and speaking of knitting on multiple things and never getting anything done, I made me this calendar.
This is an awesome calendar. Let's
and
see if I can get this up there.
I have my projects by color coded, and then I put a little heart on there, a colored heart on the day, depending on what I've knit on. And you can tell on some of these days that why I never get anything done. Like on the 15th, I knitted on the What the Fade, Shannon's sweater, Kagan's sweater, and Peyton's Ricky hat.
Yeah,
okay,
4 things.
Monogamous knitters don't have this problem.
Not that many stickers. They don't need that many stickers. They just finish one thing.
But people don't understand. Now I know all of you people out there watching understand. Most of you understand. Sometimes I don't feel like doing rows and rows of cables.
Right.
I want to just knit on,
something mindless.
Something where you can just do it and not think.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not like Carrie, where I don't enjoy just miles of stockinette or miles of garter.
Mm-hmm.
I like there to be a pattern in there, but which is why I pick the patterns I pick. But sometimes, when you've worked all day and your brain hurts and you want to just,
or if you've had 2 glasses, or, whatever it may be.
Stay off the computer when you have 2 glasses of wine. That's when you go shopping. Then you have to cancel them the next day.
Darlene likes to go shopping. I'll get these, and these. And then the next morning, I better cancel this one. Yeah. That's funny. But
I mean, it's true. If you're working on, a big shawl that has lots of lace, you don't want to be like, 2 glasses in of wine and then working on that.
Right, because then the next day, instead of canceling the orders that you made, you're taking the lace that you did the night before.
Sucks.
It does suck. It does suck. But I am pretty much a plain Jane knitter. I do pick patterns based on how simple they are. Don't get me wrong, I love the ones that Darlene picks. But I think she mentioned a hat either last podcast or the podcast before.
Yeah, the wormhead hat.
Yeah, it's by Woolly Wormhead. It's called Tucked. And I looked at it after we podcasted, and I think I told her the next day we went
I ain't doing that with you.
I said, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. You knit, I can do the knitting, 7 rows in the round. That's beautiful, or 9 or 10 or whatever. But then you go down, into the inside, down 7 rows of the inside of the hat and pick up this stitch, and then it creates this little welt or this little row thing. It's a beautiful hat, but I ain't messing with that. There's 12 welts on that thing, and you know how many times
a lot.
You have to go down and pick up the stitch and knit it together with your live stitch, to make your knitting pop out. And I get it, and it makes it beautiful. I just don't want to do that for 120 or however many stitches we cast on, 12 times up for however many whelps there are. I might do it once, I might do it twice, but I think that's about it. Otherwise, it's
well, then the hat would look stupid.
It would look stupid. That's all. I can make a stupid looking hat, but I'm not going to make one that looks as beautiful as that pattern. So yeah, I told her that wasn't happening.
Yep, not happening.
She's going to be making that one on her own.
No, I'm probably not going to be making that one. Sorry, Shala.
It's a beautiful hat. It's just far too labor intensive for me. So I do try to pick patterns based on that. But we have some. Do we want to keep going with whips? I was talking about my song.
Yeah.
So
I'm working on Peyton's Ricky hat out of my Undead yarn from Heidi.
It is beautiful.
And I'm using Chagoo Sharp, interchangeable, or not interchangeable. I think it's a fixed circular, but it is Chagoo.
It is fixed. Somebody asked us to talk about our needles and said,
and we don't ever talk about bags because we both use my bags,
Darlene's bags.
But we will try to mention our needles.
And we do have some bags that aren't Darlene's bags, and when we do, she mentioned that
this one is by the lakeside by Sandy Rand,
and that's holding her Ricky bag. Yep. So I think she showed that last podcast. But you saw my socks, and the only other whip I have is what the fade.
Well, your sweater.
Oh yeah, I have Paige's sweater. You have Kagan's too.
I do.
So, you know what? I do have more weeps because remember I said whips.
More weeps. You have more weeps.
I have more weeps. I have more whips because I said this was the week of Paige when we podcasted on Saturday. So, this is Paige's sweater. I have it on a straight needle. I can't spread it all the way out. This is the back of the Simone sweater in the taupe colorway from We Are Knitters. And I think the needle is Wool in the Gang, but that's just holding it. And then I barely started one front panel. And this is a circular needle by KA, I think.
So I have a little bit of a story about my sweater. So this pattern is not very well written for such a simple pattern. And I felt really stupid when I made this mistake because I thought that the pattern I felt stupid and then extremely irritated at myself for not reading it better. But I thought that it said to knit the ribbing 6 inches. Well, what the pattern really said was to knit to row 6, and then it said in
ribbing in a 1x1 rib. So it had the number 6 with IN after it. There's space, but IN for inches and also for in, which is why she thought it meant 6 inches, but it was saying row 1 to 6 in 1x1 ribbing.
So I had the whole thing done, the whole back done, and then realized that it was
she
wrong.
Had 6 inches of ribbing on the bottom.
So I thought, what do? Do I make everything else wrong or do I fix it? And I decided that because this has a band that goes around it that matches all of the ribbing, I thought it would look weird. So when Tim was in the hospital, I ripped the whole thing out, the whole thing, except down to 6 inches. Then I picked my stitches back up. Yeah, 6 rows, 6 inches, and I re-knitted. So this is the back of Kagan's sweater, and then this is the fronts. And I know they don't look like fronts because they're really curled in, but they've got to be blocked. And once they're blocked and it's sewn together, you do pick up stitches and about a 2.5 inch band around this, so that's going to make it bigger. So these are her fronts and backs.
Fronts are going to get seamed to these sides. This is the back, and then the sleeves are going to come out here, and then these sides get seamed. But that all has to be blocked.
And then this is one sleeve. Well, part of one sleeve.
It'll get folded.
And I'm really, really, really trying to get this done where I can pin it together and have Kagan try it on, because I'm going to see her Saturday, and I would like to be able to let her, to put it on her and see if I need to make it longer or if I need to make it shorter, or what kind of adjustments I need to make before I actually cast the stitches off and sew it all together.
And block it and start seaming. So
that's why I didn't work on Shannon's sweater today, is because I'm trying, since I'm going to see her Saturday, I wanted to get the
get the sweater
done.
caught up.
This is a super fast. I mean, I knit that whole back, almost that whole back, at the hospital after I ripped it all out, and Shyla was like, "Oh, that's kind of impressive." And I'm like, well, it's because I'm that good, but it's because you're knitting on telephone poles, for needles.
They are pretty. They are pretty big. I know Darlene's hands are probably hurting her, and she is rushing because she said Kagan is coming this weekend. I have Paige here to put up to her back all the time, so I can only knit at it in certain times because it does. Those big sticks or the circulars or whatever.
They're hard. They make your hands hurt.
They do make your hands hurt. They do make your hands hurt.
Oh, and then my other thing I have is Shannon's sweater. It's plugging along. This is the back.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
So there's the back of his. And that feels like fingering weight or lace weight after using that, knitting on that with Kagan's. But I should be finished with the back by the next time we podcast, because my little thing
She's
over
got
there,
a lot done.
I have. It says that I should be finished with the back by the 4th of October.
Yeah, it looks great.
And I'm only 45.66% done.
She's already started decreasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's because the sleeves aren't included in that.
That's
Because you
right.
were already done with
That's
the
right.
sleeves.
So it's coming along. I think it's turning out good.
It looks great. It looks really good.
But y'all probably are thinking, get that done. We're tired of seeing that. But
Yeah. She's tired of knitting on it.
I am.
Okay, so me not being able to talk, the week of page, when I was trying to say week and width at the same time, like I said, we're a little discombobulated because of we've already recorded once and don't remember what we've said and what we haven't. But I did start her dishcloth. It's a slip stitch pattern. It's 2 different grays. It's Knit Picks yarn. She picked the pattern. I think it's free on Pearl Soho. And then I think I showed the yarn last week. It's Knit Picks Dishy in ash and the silver colorway. And then I also got some Pebble. This is crocheted for her. It's a striped
I love
one.
that. I kind of want to buy some of that because.
Well, I have some more up there. You just take some home.
Okay.
So
I'll
that's
wait
gonna
till
be
you're done with all her stuff.
it's gonna be a pot holder. So I think I might have to make 2 and slip stitch them together because it's not very thick. But I'm not a big crocheter, so I don't always know what I'm doing with crochet. This isn't even a pattern. I just chained so many and then started single crochet.
It looks great.
And hopefully it doesn't shrink too much, but I'll have to make them a little bit thicker for the next one. So she can actually use them as a pot holder.
I love them.
Thank you.
So I haven't worked on this a whole lot, but I wanted to get it out of the bedroom, and because I know it's getting cooler. Hey, yeah, we are below 80 today.
Wow.
So get that winter stuff going.
All right, Charlotte, break out the parka.
Yep. So I wanted to work a little bit on Peyton's cape because I want to get it to her pretty soon so that she
She's
can
a
wear
little
it.
bit of
The color work.
the color work started.
So, and sorry, Peyton, it's not done yet, but I promise I'll get it to you soon.
If she could ever finish that sweater
Oh my
of Shannon's.
gosh, I know.
See, the thing about like putting it up close and then bringing it back, when we put it away, we're blurry, like for a minute or a second or whatever. But I'm gonna have to try and figure that whole thing out. So
Let me show mine first, and then everybody can say, "Well, you're pathetic." I don't want to show mine after you show yours.
I have you have a whole sweater to compete against me. So,
But this is my What the Fade by, I don't know who's it by, Andrea Mowry. But I'm still on Clue 2 because as much as I want to work on this and I really am loving it, it's just not on my priority list right now because I have to get
she's
Shannon's
got a
sweater
few
done.
other things that she's got to.
But I do really love it, and I just wish I was through the brioche. The brioche is really, really slow for me, and I'm not. My yarn is so perfectly dyed.
It's evil.
Sorry about that. So what I was saying about my fade is the brioche is hard because my colors are so close. They're so similar that I have a hard time knowing whether I'm doing it right because of the shawl over the stitch and stuff. So it's very time consuming for me, so it takes me forever to get a row done.
It really is beautiful. The colors are so pretty together.
They really are. But so anyway, I'm like 3 clues behind. By tomorrow night I'll be 3 clues behind.
Yeah, I think tomorrow comes out, or tonight, tomorrow morning comes out Clue 5. I just barely finished Clue 4. I didn't think I was going to finish it in time for the next clue, but I did.
It's awesome. It's so beautiful.
So there's all my brioche, and then right here at that strong orange line after the green, that's where the garter starts, and then it fades.
It's gorgeous.
This is the wrong side. And it has been what I've been working on the most, because I was behind on Clue 2, Clue 3, and Clue 4. So now that Clue 5 comes out, I should finally be caught up.
That's great.
You know, so hopefully I can finish that up.
But, well, what do you? I did want to mention that there was one thing that I want to start pretty soon. We kind of did that before about what we want to make.
Knitters want to knit.
Now that hunting season is coming up, my son-in-law is a huge hunter, and so my grandkids and my daughter, they all like to hunt because that's, it's a sickness that runs in the family. But they all want to hunt. So I want to make Trenton, the
fornicating deer hat.
Only I don't want to make him a fornicating deer.
I
just want to make him a hat with just a deer on it for him to wear when him and Tim goes hunting.
That'll be nice.
I do want to put that on the needles for Trenton, and I need to make my son-in-law a pair of gloves. He asked for me to make him a pair of gloves.
Fingerless or full fingered?
He wants full fingered except for this trigger finger.
Oh, okay. I think you said that. So I think I remember that.
I've never done that before, so
I'm sure we'll figure it out.
well, I'm sure we will.
Or we'll make them all full fingered and cut it. Who knows?
So
wing it.
But
speaking of what a knitter wants to knit, it has to do with my stash enhancements. So Lolo did a special colorway.
Lolo sure did it.
And she did do it. She did a special colorway for Hurricane Harvey, and they all shipped. And I had ordered a sweater's quantity of DK, and I have them all sitting over here, but I'm not going to pull them all out because they're all the same. Of course, speckled's just a touch different. It's called Helping Hippos. And it's gray with just all sorts of speckles of different colors all over it. And I am absolutely in love with it. And what I'm going to make is a sweater called Portage. Now, I've bought yarn for Portage before. It's been on my list I want to make this for quite some time. It just keeps getting pushed to the back burner with, knitting things for other people, Paige the house, and, different stuff. With this yarn, it just has to be a Portage sweater.
And I'm going to make that also. I'm just not sure what I'm going to make it out of. I only have solid colors in my stash, so mine will probably be that brown color, that taupey color.
And that's what I was going to make my original Portage with, was a solidy tonal type thing. And but when this yarn came in, it just screamed Portage. So that's on my I want to
and we're hoping that we can start on that. I told her I can't start on it until after Shannon's is done, but I'm hoping after Shannon's is done maybe we can start.
Yeah,
I mean, Carrie may start without me, but if she waits,
I've got my dad's sweater. I've got so many things to knit on right now. So but since I'm already on stash enhancements, I just have a couple others. Darlene and I get the Leading Men Fiber Arts Color of the Month each month. This is called King Max, and I actually found out on Yarn Hoarders podcast, I watched a little bit of it when it came out today, that this is for a couple friend of theirs that had a child named Max or Maxwell.
I thought it was a reference to Where the Wild Things Are.
I think it is Wild Things, but then there was also like a child born. That's what Amber said. I don't know, because I don't know them very well, but I know she's very good friends with them. So that's the
it's really pretty. If that was DK, that would be a pretty Portage too.
Oh yeah, it would. It sure would. So I got that one. And the last stash enhancement I have, I know I've said I don't have a lot of stash enhancements, and I really, really usually don't. But I did enter into the Knit Stars this year, so it's like a class type thing. You get to see classes from all different knitwear designers or knitting teachers and things of that nature. And I didn't sign up last year for Knit Stars 1.0, but I heard it was pretty great. And on 2.0, there were more people that I really liked, and I wanted to get this one, so I did. And when you get the Knit Stars, you have the option to purchase some of the exclusive yarn that they either have special dyers dye for them for what they're going to teach in their class, or like the Hedgehog Fiber lady, she's doing a class. I can't say her name, otherwise I would say it's Beta or Beta something, but I can't say it. So she dyed up some special yarn, but she's going to use it with other yarns in there, and you don't know exactly what all it is. Some of it might just be a class on color play, and some of it might just be a class on, seaming or something else. I don't know what all the classes are. So it doesn't not each class necessarily has a project to it, but they do have some yarn you can purchase for projects. So I did get the Hedgehog yarn colorway. It's called Warhol. They're all the same. I know they don't look at, they just, it's Hedgehog, so it's just dyed a touch different, each one. Maybe I should take it out of the package, or at least one of them, so the plastic isn't.
It's really pretty. So did you have to buy 4, or did you just buy 4?
I just wanted to buy 4. I wasn't sure what she was going to do with it, and, I thought I could, put it in things like, find your fade, what a fade, maybe even the So Faded sweater. Even if you did the So Faded sweater all in one, one colorway. With speckles like this, it would still look kind of faded. Speckled up. So
good.
So that was it for me on stash enhancements.
And my only stash enhancements was I also supported Lolo in the her fundraiser for Hurricane Harvey, and she raised like $26,000+.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. So,
everything that
thank
she
you,
raised.
Lauren and Trey, for doing that.
Yes.
But so I bought 2 skeins of DK.
And she also has a skein of Lola's favorite
coming, because I didn't, nobody knew what it was going to be, or everybody would have probably bought more. But it's just awesome. And then my other one was also the Supermax from Leading Man. And that's all I got.
Yeah.
So. But we have something really exciting that, it's only for us, but it's really exciting. We had a friend, Ravelry friend.
Her, also on YouTube. Her name is Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
And she's in Colorado. And a few episodes ago, I don't remember what we were talking about, but we made some sort of comment about how even though we're knitters, we like to have things knit or crocheted or, sewed or whatever for us. And, just like any other knitter would want, if you're a knitter, who would turn down somebody else hand making something for you? So she had commented that she agreed I would love for somebody to make something for me. And I said, well, PM me your address and I'll send you something. So she did, and I sent her a shawl and some socks, and she turned around and sent the most amazing package back. This is like
way above and beyond what anyone should ever do.
We each have an individual card, and the card is from a local artist, and she personalized it. This one has a hat picture on it. I think Darlene's has socks. And she talked about
with a long note. This was a very well thought out gift.
And she talked about what each item is, and if it whether it was local or if she got it from somewhere else, and each like, this is the chocolate, and it has a cute little note on it. This chocolate company is up the road in Boulder. This is our favorite chocolate. So just all this personalization. She'd asked me, do you drink coffee or tea? And I said, Darlene and I both drink coffee and tea. And I said, I only like a bold coffee. So,
like she said, this chocolate is from a company from up the road in Boulder.
Yeah, I just read that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. In one ear, out the other. Sorry.
And like, this is a bag of coffee, a dark roasted full body, intense and lively in its interrogating blend. And just all the stuff, and it's made in Colorado. It's in Denver, Colorado, on Umos Street.
Smells so good. And these cards are from a local artist. And you know, tea.
Some tea and some
A
candies.
few of her favorite teas. And so this blew me away when Carrie, because I couldn't stand it. I told Carrie, I said, open it. I want to see what it is. So Carrie opened everything. She knows I ride a motorcycle. And so she knitted me these mitts because she knows I ride a motorcycle. So she knit these.
And she put a comment in the card about how you could wear them on your motorcycle and hopefully your hands don't get cold.
So wasn't that amazing? I mean, I just think that's just so awesome. I mean, I just can't believe it, you know?
She made me a hat. A fabulous hat. Just take my glasses off. I love it. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Isn't it?
Yes.
I think she crocheted or knitted this soap bar. She bought the soap bar from a local health food store, and she made the soap scrubber sack out of Alouette linen.
And I think that is the cutest thing.
It's just amazing.
It is. I mean, I'm just like, wow.
She felted a little pouch, and she said, this will match your bag that Darlene's husband made with the, you know.
Yeah.
It's red. And she says you can use it for your bag that, you know, I showed last podcast. Stephanie, I don't think we'll ever be able to thank you enough.
I don't know how she knew that I guess she pays really good attention, because I don't even remember saying this, but
it's her favorite color.
Turquoise is my favorite color. And so my mitts that she made are turquoise, and I can't get this thing off, this tag. And then she felted me this little purse, and it has some little stitch turquoise.
She made the charms. She made the charms herself. And she told me in a PM message that she hand felted these because she has a front loading washer.
Oh, really?
That doesn't felt very well. So yeah, she hand felted these.
I just think it's the coolest gift ever.
Yes.
So
thank you.
I'm just like blown away. I mean, this is the first time I've seen it. I saw pictures of them, but I haven't seen the whole thing. But I just think it's gorgeous, and this little purse is just so stinking cute.
It is. It is. I told her I like chai tea, so she sent me some dirty chai. She said I could share it with you if I wanted to.
Oh, well, you will.
But
she will. But I just can't believe it.
Yes.
What a thoughtful and very unexpected gift.
Very, very unexpected. But thank you very much. And we just wanted to show that on there, just to show our gratitude. And
I'm going to take my coffee to work tomorrow, and I will think of you every time I drink a cup.
She will. She will. It's fabulous. Thank you very, very much.
Yes, thank you. But I have another announcement.
Uh-oh.
And we'll be able to actually show what I'm fixing to talk about at the next podcast. But Carrie from the Creative Obsession and I are doing a Christmas kit together.
They are.
And they are.
I have seen it. And they are
so
cute. And I think they might go for sale prior to our next podcast.
As soon as... So I have the bags done. Carrie is dyeing the yarn. Like right now, she's probably in her studio dyeing that yarn.
She probably is.
So I should have the yarn next week. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and list them just because it's Christmas yarn. People might want to knit a Christmas hat or Christmas socks.
Right.
And might not want to wait until, Christmas
December.
Eve to cast them on or something.
Right,
so
December.
I'm going to go ahead and put them up. We are limited on the number of kits. We're going to have 20. But they are so cute.
They are very, very cute. Very, very cute. So you guys are going to have to keep your eyes out for that.
Stay tuned. I'm super excited.
I'm super excited as well. Super excited for you.
So thank you, Carrie, for working with me and getting this done. So she's a fabulous yarn dyer. So.
She is. I'm using her ambrosia in my What the Fade, and I'm really loving it. So it's a great yarn to work with. I don't know that we have anything else. I think we might not be podcasting. Well, when we recorded on Saturday, we said we wouldn't podcast for 3 weeks, but now it looks like it's going to be 2.5 weeks because I'll be going out of town, and so we won't be able to podcast that week. And then I think after that we might have another 3-week period because we have the knitting retreat.
Oh, that's right.
We have a knitting retreat that we
Yeah.
go to that's fairly local. It's called the San Antonio Fiber Retreat. Because people spin and you can crochet and, do anything fiber-wise.
We could podcast out there. I just don't want to do that.
We couldn't do the whole thing there, not the whole pod. We might take a snippet of, all our friends to put at the end of the podcast. If I even remember, half the time I'm just chilling and knitting. Just sitting and knitting and enjoying the outdoors, and I don't get out very often. And our friends. So we have that coming up pretty soon. So
I was going to tell you, my granddaughter, Kagan, I was talking to her last night, and she asked me what I was doing. When you said chilling and relaxing, it made me think of Kagan. She asked me what I was doing. I told her, I said, I'm taking off my work clothes and putting on my pajamas. And she said, Granny, isn't that the greatest thing when you go...
if she's 15 years old. She's and she 15. Went to work all day. And she's 15.
She said, you go home and you can take off your bra and take off your uncomfortable clothes and just put on your comfortable pajamas and just chill. And I told her, I said, man, you have learned that early. But it was just funny. She was like, isn't that the greatest thing?
It is. I love it.
Me too.
I love doing it.
Me too. So, but we're sorry for the delay in getting this out.
Mm-hmm. Very sorry.
We're still like new to this whole thing.
I think that with this being stitch number 6, I think
it's really stitch number 9.
It was something because I think we re-recorded 3 times, and we told you last week that we're doing the camera now, which was part of the problem with this audio. I guess I didn't have the microphone plugged in right or all the way or something. But we're also, we're having a hard time looking at the lens, which is what you would want us to look at. We have this little box next to the camera over here that we can see, and it's a picture of us. So, we kind of look at it to make sure we don't look too retarded. We're trying to get better on the camera, and I'm trying with the focus and all that stuff. Maybe I can clip out some of the parts where it had to sit there for 3 full seconds to focus.
I do think having the knitting, even though I'm just working on a hat, I think that helps me to not feel like I have to be staring at the camera, but also I'm not staring off into space. I'm
mm-hmm.
I think looking at my knitting, it probably looks better than just trying to look weirder.
And we're doing this without a microphone because you know what? Darlene and I really aren't the quiet type. I'm not really sure that we need a microphone.
Yeah, I'm not sure we do either.
If this is very, very quiet and you just couldn't hear us and it was driving you nuts even though you tried to turn it up, let us know because I think I'm going to go forward without a microphone. We do have one that's kind of this fancy Brodeo mic or something, and it goes up on top, and I thought I heard a humming in it in episode 5, stitch 5.
Didn't Paige say she heard a humming in it?
Yeah, Paige said she heard a humming, and I didn't hear it at first till she pointed it out to me. And so I was trying to use this other smaller microphone this past Saturday, but like I said, I either had it plugged in too far or not far enough, or they're not compatible or whatever, because zip on the sound.
Yeah.
So with this one, we're just going with the camera, no microphone.
So let us know if the sound quality is bad. Let us know, and we'll change it again.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think in this giveaway, that is going to be the prompt for it, because we want to know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what's driving you crazy, what you don't want to see anymore, what you want to see more of. We're loving getting to know each and every one of you. Messages on YouTube or Ravelry or whatever, and Stephanie and all of her greatness over here.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But just...
Okay, people, the bar has been set. Just saying. No, just kidding.
We don't need you to send anything. We just want to get to know all of you, and we know we're not going to make everybody happy 100% of the time. There's some people that are going to love some stuff and some people that are going to hate it. But we are trying, and we are still getting into the groove. It'll probably take us to episode 68 or something before we know what we're doing, but we do thank you for coming and checking us out, whether you're a returning viewer or a new viewer. So thank you very much.
And we'll see you in 2.5
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.